with this, I am going to cease my maternal nagging that all of us have to do homework. And I'm here to introduce you to my brother, the Chief Operating Officer of Alvanon, Jason Wang, who is the real tech visionary of this company. And he's also a gaming enthusiast who has beat me at every game since I was 5. But Jason is going to show you the Alvanon way. And all views represented here are not only his own, but also the ones of our company. So, hi, Jason. Take it away.
Hi, Janice. Hi, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the 3rd annual 3D Tech Fest. So I'm going to jump right into it. This year's really been something, hasn't it? We've had crazy inflation, we have a recession looming, we have a war, and we have really real climate change issues all hanging over our heads at the same time. And to be honest, I'm pretty scared about it. And it's not very pretty at all. And we have a saying in Chinese, though, that where there's danger, there's opportunity. And I'd like to think that we as an industry are resilient and flexible enough to get out of this predicament. But what a predicament we are in. With consumers' appetite for discretionary spending going down, cost of goods going up, and brands really need to look into their product strategies to make sure they have the right products at the right price, at the right time, and in the right quantities. And this may all sound very, very basic, but this has not been the standard operating procedure for most brands in the past. Retailers have been chasing top-line revenue, and as such, clothing is produced in excess, with a lot of wastage in every aspect of the supply chain. And here's some food for thought. Since the last financial crisis in 2008, apparel production levels have increased by 250%. Meanwhile, the human population has only grown by 18%. So think about that for a little bit. That's a lot of wastage. The concept of degrowth, though, is not novel, but it's something that is being brought to the forefront today. The question for our industry is whether we can produce and sell less, yet be more profitable. And while we are doing that, can we actually be more sustainable and responsible to our planet by producing less waste? The answer to all of those questions should be yes. And it starts with placing an emphasis on devising mid to long-term plans that aim to solve operational inefficiencies. Implementing these strategies, however, is a complex task, but it can be achieved through building circular strategies for each key area, like production and sourcing, design and merchandising, etc. As all of you know, the area that Alvanon is focused on is fit and sizing. And here is a super simplistic view of the circular ecosystem that we are building. The cycle begins on the top right, with the brand using fit standards to build products that fit consistently. During our first 3D Tech Fest, we talked about building authentic or production-ready digital garments that map one-to-one to the physical products being sold. After all, we are not building digital clothing only for the metaverse or gaming right now. We are at a stage where revenue is still generated from selling real clothing in real life. The key reason why building authentic digital garments is a fundamental step is that it allows you to utilize your digital garments in different stages of the product lifecycle. The key to a successful digital product strategy is to build assets once, then leverage it many, many times. Therefore, it's critical that your digital product development is done with a production-ready mindset right from the beginning. In the last 3 years, we have seen a lot of our clients take this approach to build their digital pipeline. The problem is, though, is that while they are doing this for their core size, less than 20% of them have been using or use full-size set bodies to develop their full size range. So here again, I'd like to stress that building the core size right is only a fraction of the solution. If you simply rely on garment grade rules to develop your graded sizes, then you are not fully leveraging the power of 3D, and you'll be at a huge disadvantage in the near future. Developing digitally in full size ranges allows you to have reusable digital assets of every size that can be used in real-time virtual dressing room simulations or 3D garments for future metaverses. After all, the world is talking about inclusive sizing right now. And as such, building the full size range of digital garments allows you to communicate this commitment to your customers. A picture speaks 1,000 words, and I don't think I need to stress how important this is for building brand loyalty today. 3D has come a long way in the past few years, but it's also caused its fair share of issues along the way. In terms of avatars, designers want to use lifelike, realistic-looking fit models for their renderings, while the technical team needs to build production-ready garments on their fit standards. This has created huge inefficiencies in the product development process, since the underlying bodies that are being used are different. Technical designers are, in a lot of cases, actually forced to remake the garment from scratch to meet the production specifications. So in order to remedy this situation, we are officially launching our Alvanon model service this year, which leverages some of the latest technology to build lifelike textures on our Alvanon avatars. Here are some of the examples of different ethnicities and body types that we have developed. Here you can see the Caucasian, the African American, the Asian, and the Latina, and these are all built on their respective regional standard bodies. Of course, you or your designers may have a different idea on what your ideal fit model looks like. And our avatars are able to be customized to your exact specification. Different looks and skins can also be applied on the same body, allowing for more flexibility and variation. We have also worked with our software partners to ensure that you can swap textures from the Alvaform linen in the 3D program to the realistic human skin on the fly without the need to redrape the garment. So this would allow your design team to review garments on the desired fit models and allow your marketing team to post beautiful renderings of your digital garments without sacrificing fit and sizing consistency. And since I really want to drive this point home, yes, draping and visualization on realistic full-size sets is possible, and frankly, very important for your designers to get a good read on how the garment looks and fits when it's graded. So going back to the earlier ecosystem image, this next part focuses on our customers and recognizes the pivotal role they must play in the ecosystem. How can we leverage digital garments with our customer base to not only incentivize them to buy our products, but also gather important fit and sizing feedback so we can improve our future product offering? Virtual dressing rooms, fit and sizing apps, and other types of solutions have been out there in the market for quite some time. The question remains is, why has the adoption been slow, and why are there no major players in the industry today? To answer that, let's take a look at the current situation. Firstly, there are many exciting technologies that allow the customer to try on virtual garments today. And let's call this genre virtual try-on technology. Like the app shown here, they allow consumers to get a good idea whether or not they like the style, the color, and other features of the garment. While this is extremely powerful, it does not address the size of the garment or how that garment is actually going to fit on the customer. This actually may create a false expectation with the customer and increase your returns. So enter the second part of the riddle, fit and sizing recommendation technology. Again, there are many of these apps in the market today, like our own beta app shown here. While they do provide sizing and fit advice, they are usually an afterthought for consumers. After all, consumers are at first drawn to the style and look of the garment, while sizing and fit is the last decision before they make a purchase. The key to a successful solution, then, is to create a synergy between these two technologies, effectively bridging the showroom and the changing rooms virtually. The advent of a true all-in-one solution will hinge on a few key things happening. Firstly, brands will need to have a digital production creation pipeline and a library of authentic digital garments. Secondly, technology for predicting and building consumer digital avatars will need to be more accurate and much simpler to use in order for mass adoption. Finally, and probably most importantly, we will need to have enough computing power and faster algorithms to perform real-time simulations of digital garments on the consumer avatars. If all three of these conditions are met, a true virtual dressing room can be achieved. At Alvanon, we believe that we can help the industry in accelerating this development. We have spent the last 20 years gathering a lot of body data around the world, and we have been using this data to help over 2,000 brands build more than 10,000 fit standards that are being used daily to build product. At the same time, we have developed our own sizing standards for different regions around the world, including North America, Europe, China, etc. All of this data, as well as all of the body data that we have gathered through different scanning projects, is being used to drive our Alvanon body engine. The Alvanon body engine is a back-end service that will be able to assist current and future sizing and fit technologies in two ways. Firstly, it houses our proprietary machine learning body AI, representing different ethnicities and genders. And secondly, it houses the fit standards for different brands, like our ABP, which allows existing sizing apps to match their generated consumer avatars or measurements to the exact fit standards that the brands use. Since we are able to use the same 3D mesh topology that we use to build the brand's fit standards, we will be able to perform a vertice-to-vertice comparison to accurately predict and recommend the correct fit and size to the consumer. This service will significantly reduce the amount of integration work to get the correct sizing results, and the accuracy of the recommendation will improve over time as brands adopt full-size sets during their production development cycle. So if you want to match your clothing to your consumers accurately in the future, you must adopt full-size set avatars. The Alvanon body engine is meant to complement what is already in the market. So like our Alvanon body platform, we want to collaborate with current fit and sizing recommendation apps to provide a simpler solution for the fashion industry. We expect to launch this in 2023. The use of consumer-facing fit technology allows you to have a feedback loop about the sizing and body information of your customers. This data is analyzed and could be immediately applied as recommendations to improve or better your current fit standards. If your brand is already using an existing sizing recommendation solution, ask yourself this question: how much of the collected sizing data, if any, is actually integrated into developing a better sizing assortment or used to improve your current fit standards? For example, if the data is indicating that there's an opportunity for one more size on the larger end of your size range, are your product development teams able to take advantage of this and execute on it? This is where we can go back to our ecosystem. Gathering data is one thing, but being able to apply and act on the conclusions of this data requires a strategy and a pathway. What we need in today's world is simply less words, more action. The simplistic pathway we are presenting here is just one of those possibilities. This feedback and implementation loop allows for constant improvement of your fit and sizing using current and relevant customer information. And it will allow you to make informed decisions on how and where to improve your fit and sizing mix, while also allowing you to more accurately predict the appropriate volume to produce for each size without relying on gut instincts. As an industry, we simply can't keep making more of the wrong stuff. I'd like to end this presentation today by quoting what Rahm Emanuel said once: "You never let a serious crisis go to waste." And what I mean by that is that it's an opportunity to do things you think you could not have done before. After all, we as an industry need to adapt to survive. And the days of huge production volumes and huge wastage are simply over. It's time to adjust to a more sustainable and profitable, albeit smaller industry. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the 3D Tech Fest.
Yet again, that happened. Thank you so much, Jason. As you can tell, I mean, like, some of our clients actually get to see some of the work that we've been actually doing in the background for a very long time. One of the big questions actually that somebody has asked me is like, how long have we actually been working on this parametric avatar? And what did we have to do in order to get all of this done correctly? Because we actually had to take a look at some of the data sets and really examine some of the work that we had done previously.
Sorry, can you ask? Sorry, I couldn't hear that, Janice.
Oh, sorry.
Can you ask that one more time? Sorry.
One of the questions that we've actually got is, what did it take for us to build all of? We've had 10,000, body standards made. How did we try and make some of those bodies? And how did we rebuild what you call our Alvanon body engine? Because we had to do some really, you and your team had to do some really hard work to actually get there.
Yeah, so I think the one thing that we do here at Alvanon is we try to make sure that we have very good what we call ground truth data. And ground truth data is the data that you use to build the underlying AI, the body AI that runs our Alvanon body engine. And what we did is we didn't only just take scans that we took during our scanning projects and during a lot of the data that we actually cooperated to get. We didn't only use those scans. We actually went and rebuilt every single body. So imagine this, we had our 3D modelers actually rebuild every single body of that data to make them work. So in other words, all of the 3D meshes of those underlying bodies that we have that go into the body AI has the same 3D mesh, has the same points of reference. So for example, the shoulder point, the high point shoulder, the apex point, they're all in exactly the same vertice. So when we're doing a comparison, what happens is you are able to match apples to apples. So you don't have a scenario where, oh, you know what, I have this scan data. Oh, it's looking like this lady has a very high haircut, very big hair, right? So how tall is she, right? Really, and you have to, and you're using an algorithm basically to figure out, okay, well maybe on average it should be 2 inches shorter or 1 inch shorter. For us, no, none of that guesswork comes into play because we rebuilt those bodies.
Which is actually, something that I think that a lot of people don't know because, sometimes we're probably not very vocal about some of the, hard work that the teams have done over the past 2 years, especially during COVID, right? I mean, we took that opportunity to do some of those things. You really tasked those teams to actually, work on a methodology, and it's really all kudos to them to actually get to the output that they got to, using the time very, very wisely and changing the whole kind of the digital back end of what our company was built on. So with that, I want to just thank you, and I hope that you feel better and enjoy the show.
Thanks, Janice. Thank you, everyone.
See you later. So, some of the things that actually Jason talked about was degrowth, and really one of those, it's been one of those big questions that we've been thinking about since, 2011. We came out of the financial crisis thinking, oh, the industry will actually be able to tie this idea of size assortment to an idea of, of sustainability. I mean, because we came from the manufacturing industry, we actually have seen all this waste in the past. And there was a very interesting conversation that I was having with Jason Mitchell of the Man Group one day, and he was actually saying to me, is it because this industry is like the coal industry, and you got really, really efficient at what you did as a manufacturing industry? And that's exactly true, is that we managed to, as an industry, break down everything into little parts. We pretty much we devised, it was a division of labor upon everything, and all of that division of labor went to cheaper and cheaper cost bases. But what it actually didn't do is, we never really kind of thought about, well, actually, how do we, because things were easy and we were doing it well, we didn't actually think what would happen if one day it was taken away. And I think we see this with coming out of the COVID crisis and straight into another financial crisis, is that, we're in a time where we actually really have to rethink the ways that we do things. And Jason has shown one of the things that we've actually been trying to advocate for years. And just a little kind of teaser for day 3. Definitely come and see the last conversation that ends out 3D Tech Fest. And I think a lot of the culmination of everything will actually come to the forefront of all the things that actually Jason's talking about, but as well as some of the other speakers that we have on today.